Here we go. So some dates to write is our next Super Saturday is January 12th, unless Indiana changes it. And I believe they haven't announced it yet, but Shanti is coming to Chicago.
Right.
So, and I don't know if Shanti is coming to Indy, but there's that. So we can kind of pick and choose which one we want to go to. And then Coach Camp will be February 15th, that weekend, which takes place in Itasca, which is the northern side of Chicago, like northwest. Yeah, northwest. And it's there at the Hyatt. And then Christina usually rooms a certain amount of block of rooms, and then we usually just split them. But it's a day of jam-packed information and knowledge, how to coach, like more than what you get. I feel like it's a little deeper than what you get at Summit. Summit is like if you're a brand new coach, and then you pick up some tidbits that you can use, but it's a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Coach Camp, you could give you things that you can actually implement. That's where I picked up doing my monthly free meal plans that changed my business. So even though it was slow and not everyone participates, and some people complained at the beginning, it happens to everybody. And people complain because they don't like cucumbers, or they don't like peppers, and you kind of just, it's frustrating. So I just vent to Greg, but you learn to have thicker skin and go, okay, and just respond kindly to that person. You might just alter it so it's a different vegetable or a different meat if you don't like that. And so that's where you learn a lot of stuff. So it's usually one day. In the past, we've driven up in the morning. We leave at the crack of dawn, and we go, and it's from like 8 or 9 to 4, which is really 5 here, and then we drive back and we get home at like 9 or 10. So it's a 12-hour thing. It's a whirlwind, but it's really fun, and it's a lot of good information, and it's way cheaper than Summit as far as like tickets and stuff like that goes. I will be going up the night before, so if somebody wants to go with me, then we can split the room, blah-bitty, which is kind of nice because it breaks up the driving, because usually I drive and I'm exhausted driving up and back in the day. So those are 2 important things I wanted to tell you. And this month is No Excuse November, so that's $20 off all challenge packs, which is amazeballs. And then there will be a Black Friday sale too that we can kind of pivot. I was thinking about running social like flash sales, even though they're not flash sales, but people see that, especially with Black Friday coming up, and they're like, oh my God, Shakeology's on sale. Because right now, if they buy a challenge pack, it's like they get on demand for free.
Oh.
Because Shakeology is $140, and you can get a challenge pack for $140, so it's like on demand is for free. So kind of changing our verbiage can make a huge difference in, oh, so I get a whole year of workouts if I buy the package together? Yes. And you get 30 meals. So running flash sales that way, and then even offering like a $5 Amazon gift card. It doesn't even have to be a lot. Or you could offer samples of Shakeology or Energize or Beach Bars or whatever you have that's not, it's just a small cost, or even a free, offering a meal plan. That's huge for people. If you already have meal plans made, to give that to people, you're not giving yourself more work. It's an old plan, but it doesn't matter, because it'll help them, and you already used it, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's something to think of too. Or even like 5 tips to a toddler's lunch. Easy snacks that are healthy for picky toddlers. That would be a great freemium that some mom would be like, oh, I need that. I have a picky toddler. I need help. I can't get my child to eat anything. So like that, I started taking pictures of what I put in Matthew's lunchbox and hashtagging it like healthy lunchbox snacks or lunchbox ideas. So yeah. So that kind of leads into what I want to talk about, which was setting up your funnel and how to leverage your social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or if you're on Snapchat or Vine, or which Vine's not really anything anymore, but whatever social you're on, which is usually Facebook or Instagram, to draw in your people. If you have already talked to your warm market, being your family and your friends, and you've gone through your list of 100 people, which I know we all know 100 people, if you've gone and reached out and talked to them, number one, I would go back and talk to them again, because it takes more than one invite for someone to go, oh yeah, I had someone join me last month who I've talked to for a year. And they just finally were like, oh, I'm sick and tired of trying to do this by myself. And sometimes it's just that, and being consistent and having them come to a free group or a free workout or whatever it is. It's the number of contacts that they're brought into it. Just kind of like when we have toddlers that don't want to eat broccoli. You keep introducing that food, and eventually, hopefully, they'll like it. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll never like broccoli, but it's there and you have that option. So trying to draw people to you using hashtags. A lot of times we think really general, like mom life, coffee, unicorn juice, shift shop, Lift 4, those are all great, but those are all tags that you're going to get other coaches. And you're going to get Beachbody to follow you. And you're going to get people who follow Beachbody to follow you. And that's not necessarily who you want. And then when I was doing that, I noticed I was getting a lot of coaches. I'm like, why are all these people following me? They already do this. I don't need you. So it's thinking and making a list of what makes you unique. What makes you you? So I am a coffee junkie. I am a chocoholic. Those are more specific hashtags. And if you go to type it in, when you type it into your Instagram, when you type in hashtag Chicago, South Chicago Burbs, right? Let's say you type that in. And that pertains to you. And it comes up and it's like 160,000 tags. That is a good tag because it's a large enough tag that people will see it and you will be at the top of that funnel, but not so many people that you're going to get drowned and pushed down. Or so specific, if you had like 12 other people have said that, like Andrea Stevens rocks. Well, nobody's tagging that. So there's going to be like it's just going to be me tagging that. So nobody's going to see it ever. So you want to find a little balance between 1 million posts and 2. And if you can find a hashtag that works in there, that would be good. Also, investigate your hashtag. If you write booty day, Instagram is blacklisting some of these hashtags. Number one, you might end up in a forum that you don't want to be in. Booty day for everybody is not booty day for like it is for us. So just saying, be careful with your hashtags that you want to look them up before you tag yourself as one. Because there's some things you don't want to be included in. And so that brings us to, on your Instagram account, are you a public account? Are you a business account? Does someone have to approve you? Because that also brings into, you want to think about safety for your people. What do you want to share? Who's on your Instagram? Like, are your children on there? How much do you want to share about them? And then if you're a business account, you can see your insights. So changing your Instagram account to a business, you can see your insights. So you can see how many people have viewed your post, either in your actual story or in your feed. You can click on that and see how many impressions that's made, how many people have seen it, how many people have liked it, and how many people have commented on it. And then when you go up to your stories, you can also see people who have seen it, people who have clicked forward, people who have clicked back. The forwards, that means they're skipping it. That maybe they don't care about it, maybe they've seen it before, a whole bunch of reasons. But if they're going back, it's because they want to see it again. Or you shared something that was important. So let's say you posted a recipe and it has steps to it. And if somebody knows how to do this, please tell me. But I've seen it where it goes ba-bing, ba-bing, ba-bing every time you click, and it shows something different. Well, what if you click too fast and then you have to click back? That meant it was important enough for them to click back. Or it was funny and they want to see it again. Like if you share yourself trying to test out crow pose and you eat it on your face. I'm going to watch that over and over again because that's hilarious. I think it's funny, especially if I know and love the person. Like it's, some things are just funny like that. So, or if it's your child singing or making a touchdown, something that gives someone value, that's entertaining, that isn't just about, we all post the workout pictures and that is awesome. Keep doing it. But we have to be more than just our workouts and our shakes and our food. Yes, those are important because those are the part of the vital behaviors to be the product of the product and to make it part of our journey. But we also need to be more than that. So who are you? I wear Victoria's Secret leggings. You can hashtag Victoria's Secret athletic wear or whatever you want to hashtag it, and you can shrink that puppy down so nobody sees it, and you can hide it and change the color of the hashtag so it disappears in the picture. Or you can make it big and bold if you want, but you can shrink it and you can put, the magic number is 5 hashtags on there, and you will get more people seeing and viewing that picture. So that's something to think about, because then you will not only get the people who follow your story, but also people who may not know you following your story, and all of a sudden they're clicking through and there's you and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this girl. She's amazing. She's just like me. And then she starts following you and you have a conversation when you start seeing that she's following you. Anytime somebody follows me, I go back to their account and I look at their account and think, are you the same vibe as me? Do I want to follow you back? Or you can go through and find some pictures that you like, comment, like some of them, and then comment. Because now in Instagram, the way that the algorithm works, it's not about how many likes you have, it's how many engagements you have, meaning how many people have commented on your photo and are you responding back to them? Because it is social media, they want you to be social. So it's time to start talking to people and caring less about likes and caring more about having good quality engagement and conversations with people. Because if we're not talking to people, nobody's going to want to join us, because then you are just a picture that they're scrolling and seeing. But you want them to know you, and you create a relationship with them to build upon that. That makes sense. What else? Oh, once you get the magic number is 10,000 followers, you can add that little special swipe up thing that says swipe up here to get this for a freemium. But the way around that to gain people's email accounts, because even though Instagram is really big right now and it's basically 4 social medias in one, you now have IGTV, which works like YouTube. You can store your videos in there, which come up on your people. It'll scroll across like an advertisement. Like I did my 5-minute manicure or $5 manicure, and it scrolls across. And the people who like and follow me will see that, and they can click it. That's also a really good place where I break down my recipes and share Cooking with Cora that goes up there. So you have videos, you have your stories, which is kind of like Snapchat, and then you have actual Instagram, where it started. So there's like 3 or 4 things in one social media. But like we've seen with Facebook, it kind of dies off, and then you lose that engagement in those people. So if you can gain their email address, then you can send them like when you have announcements, when you have a new group starting, a new flavor of Shakeology or Energize that's coming out, meal plan groups, or just say, hey, how are you? If you can't find them, some people leave Facebook for Lent, or they just quit and they're sick of it. And then you don't have a way to communicate with them. So you need their email. So on your story, if you said, click here, or you can make a poll that says, I'm in, shoot me your email or message me, and then you collect their email and you can put them in your log of emails. And then that way, even if they're not a customer, you still have contact with them. And you never know, you might just need them to send them an email, say, hey, how are you? I need some advice about this, because I get asked all the time questions about teeth, or my dear nursing friends that I send them pictures if my child is hurt. Like, these are your people, you know? So you might have to ask them a question. So you need their email. Also put your bio in the link. Maybe your email address, how someone can get a hold of you, or creating a link tree is really helpful as well. That was one of the things I did this year that I'd never done before, was using Linktree. You can Linktree, you can link it to Google Docs. So that's where, if you're going to run like a free group, or you have a new challenge group starting, like a Lift 4 group, you can say, check out my Linktree, and you put it right in your bio. Okay. And you can have a form that they can fill out to be in the group. And one of the things on the form is their email. And you can include questions like, what are your goals with health and fitness? Have you ever done this before? What do you like to do? And then that way you can make a good recommendation. Maybe they despise lifting weights. Well, then Lift 4 is not going to be the program for them. Or, you know, maybe they've never done anything like this before. They probably should start with something like Clean Week or 21 Day Fix or PIO. Or maybe they're a crazy intense person and they just need to go all out and do Insanity Max 30. You know, so you can gain a lot of information from just a form and asking them questions and really listening, and then emailing back and responding and saying, I read over your stuff. I'm so excited to talk to you. You could really use that social media as a tool and not for sometimes the annoying thing that it has become. So if you haven't already, take your Instagram and make it a business account so you can see and kind of analyze what's working, what's not working. Because if something's not working and no one's seeing it, then you're just wasting your time. But if it's getting a lot of traction, like cheersing with your kids with their daily sunshine, that's adorable. I watched it twice. So you had at least 2 backs because it was cute. And then I had to show my daughter. So that's 3. So the algorithm's going to keep pulling that up because it's being liked. And when people are liking and commenting on your story, that also is that means that whatever you post in your feed is going to pull up first to those people who you're interacting with, if that makes sense. So like if I messaged you today, then tomorrow you would be in my feed, or you would be one of the first people. So sometimes I don't see anybody because they're not interacting with me. But the people who are interacting, I see their posts first. And the same thing goes with Facebook, because Facebook and Instagram are actually now owned and operated by the same people. Did you know that? They're the same. They are the same now. So some of those rules that used to be on Facebook now are applying on Instagram, like music rights and things like that. So the other thing that I learned to do was turn off other coaches' feeds. Not necessarily the coaches on our team, because I like to see everybody. But when we start looking and not having our blinders up and just worrying about us, we end up looking like other coaches. And the point is that I want to follow you. And your people want to follow you because they're your friends and they like you for you. So still keeping that integrity of who you are. I am not Melanie Mitro. She is amazing and I do follow her, but my posts do not look like her post. Number one, that girl wears makeup every day and has her hair done, and I don't look like that. So I may not follow her, and our people are not going to be the same. She appears to have all her business together. I know she does not all the time, but she appears that way. I run around like a hot mess with a chicken with my head cut off. I'm going to appeal to the mother who feels like that too. And maybe that type A personality who has all their ducks in a row can't hang with me. And they're like, oh my God, that girl's crazy. Yes. And that's okay, because like someone told me recently, they don't like it, they can just change the channel. They can. It doesn't matter. Just be you. I oftentimes get questions about this silly music app that I do. Why do I do it? Because I'm goofy and I'm just owning my goofy weirdness, and I love music and it's fun and it pumps me up. However, it does make me nervous to tell other people what it is. I think it's fun and it's very flattering, but it's more me. Like, you can't be somebody else. You can't wear somebody else's shoe. It just doesn't fit. It's just not the same. So you have to find things that are you. If you're an excellent cook, share your excellent cooking recipe. If you're a bomb-ass mom, tell people your secrets of how you get your children to behave. Or, I don't know, Greg doesn't care what other people think. Maybe how to share not to care what people think, because I care a lot what people think sometimes. So it's about just being you and owning who you are. Maybe you have a struggle. Right now, I'm trying to talk more about mental illness, anxiety, dealing with things like PTSD, because it's something that we've dealt with and suffered with for a long time. And I know that we cannot be the only people in that boat. So I want to be able to help other people. Not that I know a lot, but at least for others to know that they're not alone in that struggle. So right now I'm hashtagging things like anxiety is real, PTSD recovery, Leo wife, military wife. And those are things that are unique to our story. I don't know what else. Health nut, kid approved, healthy recipe, things like that. So, just kind of have to sit down and brainstorm who you are. And you don't have to overthink it. Like, I love Garmin. Think about the things that you use every day that you might take for granted, that are things that make up you, but they make you special. And that is what your social should be. That when you go to your page, and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, that is totally Nina. That is Greg. Oh my gosh. Because nobody else can be you. Because otherwise he wouldn't make so many different people in the world. There's only one you. So when you look at your page, you should go, oh, I know, it's like, I know this girl. You're my soul sister. I know you. I love you. And then when they meet you in person, you're like, you were just how I imagined you to be. Because there's nothing more disappointing than meeting someone in real life and seeing them on social and be like, that is not who that person is. Because we know people when you see them on social and you're like, they're so perfect. And then you see them in real life, you're like, that girl's really not that nice. Or, or whatever, or that, they seem so different, or, whatever it may be, but you just have to be genuine to you. And the last little tip I'm going to tell you, this is awesome. So all these hashtags that I've been telling you, it's kind of annoying to type them in 100 times, right? And maybe they get saved in your phone and they're in your quick because you use them often. But you can make a shortcut on your phone for them. And it's wonderful. You can make a shortcut for anything on your phone, just even to say thank you. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Or let's say you're starting to run a group and you're typing the same thing over and over again. It's a program where you work out 4 days a week and you lift and then you rest and blah, blah, blah. And you even get a treat day. Okay. You've typed this 100 times to people. So you go to either, whether it's your iPhone or your Droid, they're a little bit different, but you can figure it out. I know you can. So you go to the general settings, and then you find where it says keyboard. You go to keyboard settings, and then it'll say create in phone, create shortcut, or something like that. And then it'll ask you to make a keyword. And so, like for my hashtags, I used HT1. So #1. So when I type in HT1, in the description, I put all my hashtags in. And so anytime I write HT1, all my hashtags pop up and I just click it, boom, and it's there. And I don't have to sit there and type it all out. You can make it as long or as short as you want. If you make a whole bunch of them, you might make yourself a little cheat sheet. So when you go to look for it, you're like, oh, I can't remember what I made that shortcut, because then that doesn't save you any time. Mm-hmm. So I just have one for hashtag right now. But you could do one if you did, let's say you did a story about going to the Colts game today and being in the suite. Okay. Let's say I did that. And a lot of people commented on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was such a great opportunity. We were so blessed. I can't believe that happened. Those seats were so comfortable. I've never sat in seats like that. But it can be so long and genuine, and you really mean it to that person. But maybe you don't want to write 100 times. So hopefully that helps and saves you some time. If you have questions about social media, what can I answer for you?
I just need to know I need to be more savvy with it, I guess. Like, okay. I need to be able to experiment more with it and
play with it.
Like the scroll thing that you said at the top of the Instagram feed.
The IGTV?
Yeah.
The IGTV?
Like, I have no idea what that was or what that is. So I just need to explore that.
So on Instagram now, they just added that feature August timeframe or so. So it's in the upper right corner, and it's a little orange button that has a squiggle on it and looks like a TV. And so when you click it, it will.
Sex is
Sean T's on mine.
Important.
He's talking about sex is very important. Really smart. And Alana is on there. So all the people that I follow and their videos are on the bottom. Okay. Be careful if you pull this up at work, because they will just start talking. Mm-hmm. But then there is a little circle that has yourself in there. And if you click that, it will pull up your own videos on the bottom. And then you can, there's a plus button, and then you just click the plus, and you can add any of your videos on there. I don't even know if you can see that.
Cool.
But
Yeah,
that's how you use that. And then, so if I go to my story, if you, on the top, you know, where you put your stories, if you swipe up, you can see how many people have seen it. So this one was a yoga pose, and I tagged it. Yoga pose, time to breathe, Sunday flow. I can't remember what else I tagged it, but 159 people saw that feed. Okay. They looked at it, but it made 173 impressions. And let's see, one person went back, and then 7 people skipped that story. But if I look at my next one, which is food, this is the difference. 563 people saw it.
Holy cow.
400 people different.
Mm-hmm.
I did use some hashtags of like plant-based, eat more green, healthy recipe, coffee lover, have a little faith. I have a little faith. So yeah, that was, and 9 people pushed back. So is that a huge number? No, but that's more than normal. Yeah, and some of the other ones, they're just not as many. Usually it's around like 80 to 70 people for me. But sometimes like I need to remember those hashtags that are 564, because that meant that was a good post. And it's just my eggs and my coffee. It's literally just eggs and coffee. That's it. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it does give someone a recipe. It's eggs, spinach, and asparagus. That was my breakfast. It was veggies and a protein. But if you're looking to have healthier choices in the morning, that might be something you want to look at. And they might ask you a question about it. And if they do ask you a question, responding is a must. It's so important. Also, to create your photos, apps that are really good, Photable, like PHOTO, BLE, I think, Photable is a good app. It has lots of filters. You can play with them, more filters than Instagram. And that's why sometimes people's pictures look so polished and pretty, and you can make them different colors. You can blur things. You can focus. That is a good app. WordSwag is the one that I use. I think it was like $1.99 to purchase the app. It was the best $1.99 I've ever spent on my phone, besides my case. Again, they have stock photos on there, or you can use your own. You can play with color, light. That's pretty much how I make all my pink with the white and the black and the gold. That's all on WordSwag. And then now the things that I'm doing for like the team and that banner that I made for the Success Club, Canva. I'm making a lot of things in Canva. It's pretty easy to use. I'm still kind of navigating through it, but that's what Christina uses. And Girl Boss, who originally did all Christina's designs for her website, she uses Canva. Those are really good. And Canva's free. You can upgrade it. and have more color options and design things. But you can get by with doing the free app, and you can use your computer or you can use it on your phone. So it's nice. And no matter where you use it, it saves it.
Okay.
So just because you did it on your computer, because sometimes I like more desktop space, doesn't mean that if you're at work and you're like, oh, I need to finish that up and add my logo, then you can pull it up on your phone and you can do that. So, but that again, that just takes playing around with it. And then I think for my videos and my collages, Photofy. My collages are Photofy. I haven't changed that just because like everybody, I'm kind of comfortable with it and I know how it works. Knock on wood, it usually doesn't give me problems. So I like it. And I think the video one is pick, play, post. But anymore, I find even when I look at other people's, if it's a collage and there's like different videos in the collages, it's too much for me. I want to see the whole video, and that's just my personal preference. I want to see the whole video of what's going on instead of trying to look in those little boxes.
Yeah.
The other thing that gets a lot of good feedback is when you can create a carousel on Instagram, which means it's multiple photos on your feed and people have to scroll over to see them. So maybe you do a post like 5 tips on how to get or 5 meals for picky toddlers. And that was your post with, like pink background or chaos or whatever. And then they have to swipe over to see the 5 meals. And then you can say, for more of these, shoot me your email or comment below to be added to my next free group. And sometimes your free group can be just like a water challenge or, I share a meal. You don't even have to do a full meal plan. Yeah.
So how do you find like all these things? Like, do you get it from Christina or like, do you just kind of?
Some are from Christina. Some of them are from other coaches and just asking, like how people ask me, what is that app that you do? It's just Triller. And it says it at the bottom. So so sometimes it's that, sometimes it's just searching on your app store. But the Photable I learned from Christina, from our trip, from Shalene. And Word Swag I learned last year at Coach Camp. And I kind of hee-hawed around about it, like, I don't want to pay for it. But I did, because, it was $2. And it made it so much easier to post things. And they came out prettier. And once I started making my Instagram prettier, and you want to make sure your pictures are bright enough that people can see them. Posting a dark, blurry picture, hello, I don't want to see that. Nobody does. Make sure they're nice. And so that really helped with that. When you have good filters and when you can, unless you want to make your picture blurry for effect or whatever, but it needs to be intentional. It makes it nicer and polished, and that's what, that's I'd look at that. So yeah, sometimes they're from Christina, sometimes they're just from trainings, like jumping on trainings like this and listening to National Wake Up Call. A lot of times there's stuff on there. And I listen to that after the fact. I can't watch it at their time. It's like 11 o'clock here in the middle of a Monday. I can't do that. So, and they do have that on podcast, the replay. So sometimes I listen to that in the car or on my lunch break. And then I can fast forward through all their announcements. Don't tell anybody I do that, but I do that.
The podcast, you find them, okay, because every time, so I'll click on the email that they send me, like National Wake Up Call for so-and-so, and then I click on it, and then it routes me to like all these different things. So when you do it on the podcast, is there a certain podcast where you can find all the wake up calls, or is it, yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is on Apple, but on the Droid, it is under Beachbody, like under my podcast addict. I can search on there and it will be on there. Or yeah.
So it's Beachbody?
Team
Okay.
Beachbody Coach Podcast.
Okay.
There's 235 episodes.
Okay.
Yes. And so we'll have everybody's replay. And the last one was how I created challenge group momentum, which I feel like I need to listen to that right now. I feel like everyone's momentum is like,
yeah.
So,
I like gradually get like one person here, and then the next challenge group is like one more person. But that's just fine because I'm new to it. So it's kind of gradually getting me comfortable with doing challenge groups.
Yeah. And, when I was new, it was just Jen Fehrenbacher and I, and we just kept each other accountable, and it was that. Mm-hmm. The nice thing about that is that they really become your person, and then you can really love on that person instead of having, 50 people bing bonging you all the time. It's like it's just you and 3 other people, and you're like, oh, I love you. Thank you for posting. And a lot of times, I don't know if some people can see this when you don't create it, there will be, 200 members in the group, but only 5 people are posting, which
or nobody
is normal, or nobody. Yeah, it's normal, which is what's happening right now. So, or something good too is you can talk about like finances and stuff. I want to ask maybe Greg to look at the comp plan for our team and explain it, because I understand it, but I'm not a math person to explain it, the comp plan, to everyone, which I'm sure that a lot of people have questions about and like don't fully understand the comp plan. And that's something that we should understand, to make sure that everyone understands their cycles and their bonuses and stuff like that.
It does take a while, and it takes a lot of research. Like, I think I was researching it one day, and it took me like 2 or 3 hours just to go through everything and like understand. And I was like, okay, what does that lingo mean? And I had to look up the definition of that one and then go into something else. So it was like, it is very.
Sure. I'll look for it and see if I can't find the breakdown of the comp plan. But basically,
I did finally get it, but
it works on, like, you have 2 legs and you have subtraction of math to make them even. Like, you take 200 from each side and 200 and till you can't take any more. And then you count how many cycles you've had. And then once you count your cycles, then you times that by whatever your coach pay is, your coach pay grade. So if you're an emerald, it's 12. And if you're, right, it's 11. And then, or if you're emerald, it's 11. And if you're a ruby, it's 14. And then if you're diamond, it's 18. So let's say you cycled twice as a diamond, then that's $36. So then that's your team cycle bonus. That's the best way I know how to explain that. It's better on paper. So that's why I want to have that coming up. Maybe the next team call will do consistency and being consistent, because I know a lot of people struggle about that and get overwhelmed, and it becomes a lot to post all the time. How to time and schedule your posts so it doesn't take over your life. That's what we'll do next Sunday. We'll do that. How to schedule post. I feel like there was one more thing I was going to tell you all. Oh, not giving the secret away on social. So whatever you're posting about, like how I was saying, not to use the hashtags Lift For, Shift Shop, Shakeology. Say this crazy cool new workout, this athletic workout that I'm doing. It's totally outside my comfort zone because it is. The weight program was outside my comfort zone, but I loved it. So not saying what it is, because whatever you say it is, they're going to go look it up. They're going to go look it up. They're not going to ask you. They're going to go look it up because you already told them the answer. You are the answer. They need to ask you, because if somebody posts about their glasses and I say, oh my gosh, those glasses are so cute, where'd you get them? And they say, Oliver Peoples. What am I going to do? I'm going to Oliver Peoples' website, or I'm going to go find a discounted Oliver Peoples and buy it there. Mm-hmm. Instead of going to the Dr. Table where I bought it, then no one's, I just shot them in the foot. Oh, well, I got those at, OSSIP or whatever. Oh, all right, I'll have to check that out at OSSIP. Which OSSIP did you go to? So then the conversations, created. I know what the other thing was. Thanksgiving morning, I'm going to host a Burn the Bird workout for everybody. And so I'm so thankful for everyone. Team members, well, I'll just have a free workout for everybody, but team members get to work out at the house for free. So
you're crazy. You're doing a workout in the morning and then hosting Thanksgiving that evening.
Yeah, but it just burns off. It just burns off the stress of worrying about hosting. So that is my me time. That's my goodness. Yeah. So gonna work out at 8 a.m. Thanksgiving morning. Burn the Bird. Yes.
I'll be in Chicago, or at least driving to Chicago. But
I miss you.
Thank you.
So, do you have any other questions on social media, my dear? No. Okay. If anybody else has questions, then post them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them if I have the answers. And if I don't, then I'm so sorry. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna stop recording.